Good afternoon, and thank you for attending today's webinar, Your Business Needs Fax, 5 Things to Look For in a Fax Vendor. My name is John Lane, Chief Information Security Officer here at Biscom. I have over 21 years experience working directly with customers in many different industries to develop solutions that secure and automate the exchange of protected information. I've worked with companies as small as a doctor's office to Fortune 10 companies. Before we get started, I'd like to go over the usual housekeeping items. Please use the questions tab to submit any questions you may have throughout the presentation. I love answering those questions, and I encourage you to ask as many as you have. We'll do our best to get to each question at the conclusion of the presentation. And of course, if we do run out of time for questions, and we don't get all your questions answered, we'll get back to you after the webinar. If you encounter any technical difficulties during the webinar, use the chat feature to let us know so we can take care of those problems for you. And finally, this session will be recorded, and the link to the recording will be sent out at the conclusion of today's presentation. Now, on to today's agenda. We will start today's conversation with a discussion on the current fax landscape, including the methods currently available to send and receive faxes. Next, we'll take a look at how to select the right fax vendor for your company. I'll also be talking about the top reasons our customers are moving fax to the cloud, some best practices, and we'll finish up with a case study. And at the end, we'll do some questions and answers. Now, on to why we're here. According to Gartner's Hype Cycle for Imaging and Print Services 2016, though fax is a mature technology, the continued evolution and widespread adoption of cloud fax has kept it alive. The ability to use cloud services for faxing and keep it private information secure has created a new way for businesses to offset dedicated resources for faxing and lower the cost while maintaining the security. According to Gartner, today about half of businesses rely on fax as a core business process by using a fax server within their IT infrastructure. Gartner estimates that half of all businesses that have fax servers will shift their fax server infrastructure to an outsourced cloud fax offering within the next 5 years. Organizations are choosing to switch their in-house fax server infrastructure to an outsourced cloud fax solution due to the high cost of fax service, telephony services, compliance, maintenance upgrades, and frankly, the headaches of supporting the system and dealing with the phone company. The adoption of a hosted or cloud fax service can offer benefits to many industries, including finance, legal, insurance, healthcare, utilities, government, manufacturing, education, and really any sector that relies on fax as an important core business process and day-to-day business operations. Fax these days is more about bringing a document through a workflow, and in this case, it just happens to come in as a fax, so it's important that your solution has automation tools. Customers are consolidating their fax environments where today they have multiple fax services from many different vendors, all installed at the same time. They're finding it easier to move to a solution that allows for both on-prem fax servers working together with a cloud fax solution. This solution is called hybrid fax. The great thing is you can move from one to the other seamlessly without your users knowing or needing any additional training on how to send faxes. Today's fax landscape has a plethora of options that are available to meet the needs of customers. The simplest and most costly, in my opinion, is the standalone fax machine that supplies a quick way to send a fax with a high cost and a limited to no compliance, and a lot of labor involved with moving back and forth to the fax machine. On-premise fax servers have been around for over 30 years, helping companies to automate their faxing. Fax servers are still at the core of most Fortune 500 companies' fax infrastructure. Typically, most fax servers used PRI or analog lines for connectivity for sending and receiving of faxes. Virtual fax servers have brought the classic fax server into the IP world by replacing the TR-1034 fax board connected to a PBX using a PRI with a virtual fax board using fax over IP on a virtual machine such as VMware. Fax over IP allows companies to leverage existing telephony infrastructure, which is predominantly VoIP these days, and to virtualize your solution at the same time. When using fax over IP, you are connecting to telephony over IP using either existing switches or using a SIP trunk provider through an SBC. It allows you to keep all your data in-house and allows you to keep full control of your faxing, which is important to some companies and industries. Cloud faxing has been around for years, starting with a simple email-to-fax environment, but cloud faxing has changed and advanced over that time. Next-generation cloud faxing offers the same integrations with applications and workflow capabilities that in the past were only found in premise fax servers. The latest innovation in fax option is the hybrid fax. This allows for the best of both worlds in fax servers and cloud fax by allowing for failover and overflow to the cloud. Using the fax service as a failover, where faxes are moved to the cloud based on conditions, or for overflow for large broadcasts. You can fail over to the cloud when the local fax server is offline for maintenance, hardware failure, or telephony problems, or failover can be executed based on a delay that is definable by you to meet your business needs. The service can overflow to the cloud when broadcasting to avoid delays on the outbound side and prevent the busy conditions on the inbound calls. You can work with your telco to define rules to roll over inbound calls, potentially to the cloud faxing service. When looking for a fax solution, the selection of the right vendor is the most critical thing to do. You need a vendor that is a partner that will help you find the right solution, a partner that has the functionality and experience necessary to solve your problems, a partner that has security and compliance expertise that can help you solve the ever-changing regulatory environment, and most importantly, the partner that is there when you need support. Now let's dive a little deeper into each of these areas. The first thing to look for in a fax vendor is how they offer the product. You need to select a company that is looking out for your best interest and who is keeping the needs of your company in mind. It's important to find a vendor that wants to partner with you to implement the optimal solution as opposed to just selling you a product. It's important to understand what a customer wants, and the only way to do that is to listen to them and to ask questions to understand the challenges that they are facing and to understand any compliance needs that are present. It's important to work with a company that takes a consultative approach and will listen to what your company needs and then react to them. A consultant asks questions, listens to answers, and then proposes solutions that you can choose from. Most software and service companies are looking to pitch you a product from the initial contact to the point that you actually tell them no. It's important to look for someone who wants to partner with you to provide a solution that meets your company's needs. This should put the focus on your needs and not the products that are being sold. Products should only be used as a solution to your challenges. The next consideration is to look at the functionality provided by a vendor. This is where you need to consider not only today's needs and problems that you are trying to solve, the ones that are right in front of you, but also which your business units may need for features tomorrow. So don't just accept the essential features you may need right now. Instead, look at the ability to access advanced features in the future. It starts with looking at the different ways the vendor can fax. Do they have a fax server, cloud, and hybrid options? Does the interface stay the same no matter what the method you're using to send faxes? Look for a product that is integrated with directory services, including Active Directory and other LDAP-compliant directories. Can they use group policy to control the user's faxing environment? Does the product have numerous clients available for users and applications, including a web, desktop, mobile, and Outlook client? Are the mobile clients available for both Android and iOS devices? What types of automation features are available? Can you use workflow capabilities? Are there broadcast functionalities built in? Is there a rules-based engine that is used to deliver inbound faxes to destinations while allowing for automation of the workflow? Does it have automation features like barcode reading, OCR text tag extraction, custom delivery messages, file drops, database inserts, and a lot more type of workflow capabilities that can be automated? What APIs are available? Can you use a simple text-based file drop? Can they send out and receive faxes via web services? Do they have native integration with applications, including, but not limited to, some of the most popular like Exchange, SharePoint, Salesforce, Oracle, SAP, iSeries, Highland OnBase, Centricity, Epic, Siemens, to just name a few, and MFPs? All things to take into consideration. You want to partner with a vendor who has the experience that can help guide you through the proper solution. Select a vendor who was among the pioneers of the computer fax industry and who has spent the longest amount of time creating solutions, but ensure they have moved forward and haven't just stayed behind in the Stone Age. What types of customers has the vendor worked with? How many enterprise customers do they have? Have they worked with small and large enterprises, small doctor's offices, super large corporations? Do they have experience in your industry? You want to look at their partnerships they have from a technology and application provider perspective. Do they work with platforms you need like Citrix, Hyper-V, and VMware? When using a fax over IP, look at the VoIP switches and platforms they have experience working with. Look at the device types that the vendor works with, including VoIP platforms, media gateways, SIP trunks, and routers. Also take a look at the applications they are directly integrated with and what APIs are available to fill the integration gap. Ask yourself, is the vendor keeping a focus on fax while looking to expand the ways you can exchange documents with outside entities? And think about which vendor has the most experience. Security and compliance are the #1 focus for most companies these days, and that applies across the industries, as every industry is challenged by some sort of industry-specific regulation or law, and they all have data privacy laws to deal with. It's important to work with a vendor that has experience in your industry, no matter which one it is. It's important to work with someone who has the tools to help achieve compliance, no matter. Ask, do they have the ability to encrypt faxes at rest? Do they have native Active Directory integration for security? Are they able to log and audit user actions, the who, what, when, and where of your faxing to meet compliance? Do they have the ability to safeguard faxes by using group policy to control all aspects of the user's faxing environment? Do they know and understand compliance? How can they help you achieve that compliance? A partner that has the security and compliance expertise can be leveraged to help you solve the ever-changing regulatory environment. The final consideration is the most important factor in vendor selection, in my opinion: customer support. Does the vendor have a commitment to customer satisfaction from pre-sales, professional services, to customer support? Can they prove it with customer references? What type of professional services options are available for customers, including on-site and online training, system design, on-site and remote installation help, workflow, and advanced fax rules writing? You want to consider the types of pre-sales design work that is available as part of the sales process. Do they include you in the process and let you decide the best option for your needs? Are they recognized as having the best support in the industry? Are they willing to do what it takes to fix a problem? So let me take a moment to talk about Biscom as a company and how we deal with customer service. Since the beginning, we've realized that our customers are the most important assets to our business. Our customer-centric approach is ingrained in our culture, and we are proud of the fact that we bend over backwards to help our customers. Whether the problem lies with us and our software or the problem lies with another vendor, we focus on fixing the entire problem so you're up and running. Our staff is the most experienced in the industry at helping customers with mission-critical applications. We average over 12 years experience. We have developed a level of expertise unmatched in not only our product, but also the technologies we integrate with. It's important to have the proper knowledge in order to consult with customers on the best way to deploy products and use the proper features. Unlike most companies, we're happy to involve our software engineering staff directly with customers in the troubleshooting and designing of solutions when needed. We put the customer first at all times. Let's talk about some things to consider as you move forward with your enterprise fax deployment. As you look at your current environment and possibly consider something new, the first thing you need to consider is volume. What are you currently doing, and what trends are you seeing for the future? You may want to consider a hybrid solution that will allow you to grow ports, create high availability, or as a disaster recovery plan, or you may want to take it all your faxing to the cloud. You will need to research all the ways and departments that are currently sending faxes and get volumes, or more likely projected volumes from each of these departments. Security, not just your own, but those of your customers and partners, needs to be considered. Find out what regulations are involved. Are you handling personal identifiable information, or maybe even credit card data or healthcare data? Does your current solution take into account these regulatory compliances? You need to understand how the data needs to be secured and authenticated to have the right product and solution. Do you need to integrate your mission-critical business applications into your faxing environment? Would your organization benefit from advanced features such as ability to route faxes based on barcodes or OCR or advanced rules? Will automation benefit you? Take the time to understand all the functionality you need today by talking to the business groups and try to, once again, anticipate what they may need in the future. You don't want to buy a product, put in a solution that may limit you to in a few months after implementation because you didn't look to the future. You must also consider how easily and efficiently your fax solution can be managed and how well the solution provider stands behind the product with support. Are you using a provider that founded the industry and is dedicated to providing the best offering? You should evaluate all the available technologies, including on-prem fax servers, cloud fax solutions, MFPs, MFDs, hybrid solutions, and consider, I should say, what role voice over IP and fax over IP may play in your fax implementation. Finally, consider how you consolidate these technologies that exist in your enterprise today into a centralized fax solution, whether it's in the cloud or whether it's on-prem. Consider also the experience of the vendor with whom you'll work to implement a true enterprise fax solution, as well as security technologies that are out there and how they fit into your faxing solution. Now let's discuss the top considerations why our customers have moved a lot of their faxing into Biscom's Fax From Anywhere Next Generation Cloud service. So we're looking at enhanced productivity, reducing costs always increasing scalability, reducing that telephony footprint, and security and compliance. Let's take a look at each of these once again in turn over the next few slides. First consideration customers take into account is enhancing their organization's productivity. In other words, doing more with less, or doing more with the same. Using a cloud fax solution like Fax From Anywhere save members of an organization from wasting time unnecessarily when faxing. The process of creating a cover sheet, printing the cover sheet, printing the fax out, walking to the fax machine, maybe waiting in line to use it, waiting for the status to return, and talking to friends on the way back, because that always happens, all adds up to a lot of wasted time and big loss in productivity. Now that's just one trip. Now think about users are doing this multiple times over the course of a day, a week, a month, and a year. That comes up to a lot of wasted time not being spent on core business tasks. Instead, your organization can use a computer-based cloud fax solution that will allow the members of your team to process faxes in 1/10 of the time. They will have the ability to send and receive directly from their desktop and from their business applications. Not only is there a significant time savings on sending faxes, on the receiving side, your team members will be able to receive faxes directly into their email inboxes, into a desktop or web-based client, directly into a UNC share, or even send it to a network printer or MFP. No more needless trips to the fax machine to see if critical fax has arrived, and no more worrying about someone else seeing your sensitive faxes at the fax machine. You'll know right away when it arrives and where it is at all times. Reducing costs that your organization currently spends on faxing is another big reason customers migrate to Biscom's cloud fax solution. You'll see a significant cost savings by eliminating fax machines. You won't need to replace older machines, no more manual fax machines or the supplies that you'll need to keep buying to keep these machines up and running. and no more service agreements on those fax machines. As we discussed in the previous slide, there's a savings in user time and productivity, which equates into a monetary savings as well. Where on that slide we focused on the time saved in the last slide, here we shed light on the cost savings. Organizations aren't paying their people to follow the steps of printing a fax, walking to the machine, and then standing in line waiting to fax documents. They're paying them to be productive on core business tasks, which moving to a cloud fax solution greatly helps you to realize. Finally, there's a huge cost savings in telephony. No more paying for phone lines into all those fax machines. No more paying for maintenance of the machines. No more paying someone to wire a facility to add new fax machines. No more paying for enhancements to your PBX switch in order to do faxing across it. No paying someone to troubleshoot the lines when there is an issue. Continuing on our last slide concerning telephony, there's not only a huge cost savings in reducing fax telephony, there can be a huge savings in headaches as well. Not only will you eliminate long-distance charges by moving to a cloud fax solution, you eliminate the need to make any line changes, such as if your organization moves from a legacy telecom environment to voice over IP. You eliminate the issues that are associated with transitioning from a classic PBX to VoIP switches. There's no more managing of your teleco or PBX for adds, drops, and changes of lines and numbers. All the lines you will use for your faxing will reside in the Biscom data center. You won't need to be concerned with the phone or voice over IP lines at all. And you can eliminate fax machines and fax modems, which not only cost money but take up real estate. You can require a greater amount of human information than an intelligent cloud fax solution does those fax machines. And by their very nature, do not lend themselves well to scalability, which, conveniently enough, is our next reason. A cloud fax solution provides a lot of advantages in scalability over legacy on-prem fax solutions. A cloud solution such as Faxcom Anywhere provides the flexibility to scale up or down easily and quickly depending on the changing needs of your business. A cloud solution allows you to pay as you go. You pay only for the faxes that you send and receive. No need to pay for extra ports for peak times. Our cloud solution provides a high level of availability, again, allowing you to scale your faxing needs quickly and easily. As the fax server is hosted in the cloud and not in your company premise where it's dependent on line availability, busy conditions are no longer an obstacle. People who need to send you faxes will be able to do it at any time, and you will be able to send faxes without tying up your company's lines at your site. Finally, our last consideration, increase security of your faxes in compliance with all the various security regulations that are out there, which govern many types of our businesses. Our Faxcom Anywhere solution has completed an SSA 16 Type 2, SOC 1, and a SOC 2 audit, which covers many controls, including operations, uptime, and security. Fax images that are exchanged over the network between your premise and the Faxcom Anywhere cloud are transported securely point-to-point using SSL encryption. The exchange of sensitive information on the images you receive or send as faxes is secured against unauthorized access while in transit. Using a cloud fax solution allows your enterprise team members to receive faxes securely and confidentially to their email inboxes or to a fax client on their desktop. No more sending a fax containing confidential or sensitive information to an unsecured fax machine or MFP that anyone can walk by and view the contents of your fax. Finally, with a host of new security compliance regulations that are out there for business today, a cloud fax solution can enable your company to comply with regulations such as FERPA, HIPAA, SOX, and GLBA. Depending on the type of your business, compliance with regulations such as these can affect you quite significantly. With a cloud fax solution like Faxcom Anywhere, you have Biscom as your partner and helping you to enable compliance with these important regulations. Let's transition into talking a little bit more about the Biscom Faxcom Anywhere cloud offerings. Won't be about a couple minutes. Faxcom Anywhere offers 3 solutions: Office, Enterprise, and Hybrid. Let's first discuss the Office offering. With a Faxcom Anywhere Office account is a pure cloud solution. No software at all is installed. All you need to do is sign up your users and they can start sending and receiving faxes. Your users can either use the Faxcom Anywhere web client or simply send faxes right from their existing email client, using ideally TLS between our sites. With our web interface, users can send faxes, view their received faxes and sent faxes, as well as organize their faxes into folders. When users send a fax, they can enter one or more recipients or select them from a phone book, add a cover page and memo, attach one or more files to be faxed out, and they can also view the status of faxes they've sent in real time. When sending from the email client, users can simply send a fax by addressing an email to fax number at faxcomanywhere.com. There's also a simple syntax for including a recipient name and company as part of the address string. The memo of the email will go out on the cover page, and the attached documents will be faxed to the recipient. Many customers choose to install our Faxcom Anywhere Outlook add-in, which provides additional functionality, includes an optional print-to-fax print driver for sending from some applications. Once installed, there will be a fax tab in Outlook where the user can access our new fax dialog to simplify fax addressing. No more thinking about the format. Or they can set their fax options. Options include their sender information, cover page selection, and a number of other user preferences. That gives them a lot more features and power. For customers who have more advanced faxing needs, Biscom offers the Faxcom Anywhere Enterprise solution. In this diagram, we are showing the many options that are available, with most implementations of ours being a lot simpler than the one that's depicted here. This just shows a lot of options to show everything that it can do. This solution combines the functionality of our full-featured premise fax solution, but connects to our multiple cloud data centers to send and receive faxes. This offers the best of both worlds. You get the advantage of our Faxcom Suite Enterprise connectors on premise, but without having to manage any telephony infrastructure. Faxcom Suite provides integration with directory services, including Active Directory and other LDAP-compliant directory services. Active Directory group policies and/or Faxcom policies are used to control the user's faxing environment. There are numerous clients available for users and applications, including web, desktop, mobile, and Outlook. The web and desktop client has the ability to send and receive faxes with the options for workflow capability and broadcast functionality. Advanced fax routing is a rules-based engine that is used to deliver inbound faxes to a variety of destinations while allowing for the automation of the workflow. It works by setting a condition and then taking an action. It can be as simple as routing a fax based on the time of day, or as complex as reading a barcode while doing an ODBC lookup. APIs are used to integrate faxing with other applications and processes, with web services being the most popular. Suite can also be used to integrate with multiple third-party applications and with MFP devices from all major manufacturers. The final configuration option is the hybrid option. When the hybrid option, you have both on-premise phone lines and you can leverage the Faxcom Anywhere cloud services at the same time. The same Faxcom Suite connectors are used by both to connect your premise telephony and to our cloud data centers. Faxes can be sent or received from either, and your users will never know the difference. You can use the hybrid options for overflow, failover, or broadcast functionality, and you can choose which traffic is local and which goes to the cloud. We finish up with a case study. The Insurica Insurance Management Network is a privately held independent insurance agency with 12 offices and over 260 employees across 8 different states. When you have 12 separate offices faxing multiple page insurance documents at a rate of over 10,000 pages a month, tracking all these faxes for chargebacks and invoices can become an administrative nightmare. That's the situation that confronted Lee Matthews, system administrator at Insurica. Before embarking on a search, Lee developed 5 criteria for evaluating possible solutions. Scalability. The solution had to support the entire 260-person organization and have room to grow. Had to be hosted and managed off-site. Needed to be easy and reliable disaster recovery setup. 100% guaranteed that fax numbers would never ring busy. Faxes must arrive in searchable PDF format. Insurica's archiving solution had to be able to search content across faxes and email in one search. After evaluating a number of products using these criteria, Matthews determined that Biscom's hosted fax service met his requirements. During the research period, I didn't see any other products that had a complete hosted package for our company, said Matthews. In addition to product capability, Biscom's experience and background was an influential factor on moving forward. Shirker is a great example of a business where cloud faxing basically eliminates what would be a huge management effort with a premise fax solution. Deploying and management a fax solution across multiple offices can be a headache. You need to purchase some fax hardware and provision phone lines for each location. These locations are spread across different cities and states like in Shirker's was. You would also be dealing with multiple phone providers. With a cloud solution, you have a single point of contact for sales, support, centralized administration, reporting, and the great single bill. With cloud fax services, you can just set it and forget it. Not only is the day-to-day administration and support almost completely eliminated, there is no effort to scale a cloud solution. Since you pay based on your usage, you can scale up with no effort, never have to worry about buying. So that wraps up the informational portion of the webinar. I hope it was informative and helped illustrate the things you need to look at when selecting a fax vendor, and also the advantages of going with a fax cloud solution. Remember, the research shows that fax is not going away, it's growing, and it's going to the cloud. Now, let's move on to Q&A. We have some questions that are already in. If you have more questions, keep on asking them. If we don't get a chance to answer your question here, we'll contact you after the webinar with the answers. Okay, the first question. Do you support faxing from MFPs? And the short answer is yes. You can fax from any MFP that is email enabled. We have multiple MFP vendors, too numerous to mention, that we do have direct integration with. But you can also use the same SMTP type addressing that we talked about in the Cloud Office product. Next question, this is a great question, seems to be always asked when we're talking about cloud services. I have an existing fax number. Can I move that to your cloud service? And the answer is yes. It's called porting. So we would help you port that number to our cloud service. So instead of the fax ringing on your fax machine or your local fax server, it would ring in our data centers. We would then pick up the fax and then route it to your cloud solution, whether it was the enterprise or the office, or maybe even the hybrid solution. Next question coming in. Looks like we have somebody that does a monthly fax blast to all your providers, healthcare maybe. Can I shift only that traffic to the cloud? The answer is yes. So with a hybrid option, you could have an on-site premise fax server and cloud mixed in one, and you can decide which type of traffic goes to which destination. Another great question, how long does it take to get a solution up and running with your Biscom cloud system? The answer is not very much time. The Office solution, once you talk to one of our great account executives, it'll be up and running in a matter of minutes. The enterprise solution is a little bit more to connect applications in, but it could be half an hour that you could be up and running potentially and working with them. I'd like to work with you to help you design and understand the best methods for your users to send and receive faxes. Okay, another question. Can I split faxes that contain multiple contracts? I have partners or vendors that send me contracts, and they usually put a lot of them together in one. So we see this a lot in healthcare as well as in legal sometimes and in financial services, where you're getting in applications, from maybe it's a mortgage broker and they're 5 or 6 all at once and they're being piled up and sent at the end of the day. Or it's healthcare records coming from a lab. So we do have the ability with the advanced fax routing option to split those faxes into multiple different deliveries, making it easy for you to route them and take separate action on them. Another question, can I use your system or your cloud solution to read barcodes off a fax? Specifically, the patient record number embedded in a form. So the answer is yes. You can read a barcode. Maybe that barcode, a lot of times in healthcare, is a medical record number that we're pulling off that fax. And we can use that to find the final destination of the fax. Or we can use it to just deliver it, to a doctor's office based on who the patient is or the type of form or the type of lab that is the fax is coming from. And looks like one final question on APIs. Question is, what type of APIs do you offer? Specifically, do you have a web services API? The answer is yes, we have a web services API that you can use to send faxes from any language that can address a web services object. Java, C#, Perl, Python, Go, any of those languages and many more that can address a web services object. We still have a COM-based API that customers have always used, and a file drop API. So there's many different ways that you can get us the information. So looks like that's all the time we have today. It's the last question we have for now. If you think of anything afterwards, feel free to give us a call and contact us. More information is always available on our website. You can give us a call at any time. You can hop over to our website at biscom.com or join the conversation on Twitter or LinkedIn. Give us a call at any time. We love talking to prospects and customers and helping people solve problems. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us on this webinar. We hope this was informative for you, and we hope to see you next time.